Welcome to October. My name is Jenessee Roy, and I'm here to offer you a path, the red or blue path for this month. So if you have not worked with me before, give me just a minute so I can explain to you exactly how this flows. So what we do is basically tap into the consciousness level that you are currently experiencing life from. And you will select what consciousness level, based off of how I explain it to you, to select what path you're gonna pick for this month. How I perform readings is basically tapping into the Akashic level of your journey. And so what that means is that we're going to take this into the patterns that you're replaying in life, the limitations and the belief systems that you keep getting stuck in. And so in order to move forward, what we do is we address and pinpoint where you might be in cycles or repeating patterns and what to look out for to get you out of that trap so that you can raise your consciousness level so that you can experience life from a different plane, basically, and have new experiences instead of repeating all the dense old things that you kind of want to get out of. So how we do this is basically I start at the beginning of the month and you're going to pick either the red or the blue path. And again, that's going to be selected by the expression of what each of those paths holds. I always warn you never to listen to both paths because when we do Akashic level readings, what we're doing is we're saying, yes, Divine High Self, I want to take on all of these lessons during this month. And so if you take on both the red and the blue path by watching both videos, you're basically telling your high self that you want to take on double the work, double the lessons, double the learning in a month, which no human should have to do. So when you hear the explanation of what's behind the red path and the explanation of what's behind the blue path, pick in the very beginning what path you're going to be on, and unless events change drastically throughout the course of the month, I highly suggest you stick to that path. So you can also find this within the Chakra Deck app. It's a free app that I run, I control, and I upload all content there. There is our 30-day challenge that's in there for this month of October as well. If you have not signed up for that, I highly suggest going on, downloading the app. It's free for Android or Apple, or you can access it through your computer. And the 30-day challenge day by day is listed there. If you sign up, you will get emails for the challenge, but you will get an email a day. So I suggest if you're not getting an email to check your junk or spam because it produces an email a day, so it could overload your inbox. So just make sure that you have all those ways to access the 30-day challenge, just in case you get a little lost somewhere and email doesn't come through at the right time. And then that will help you also carry this red or blue path through the month. So I want to get you really clear on the numerology that's happening behind this month. That's how I work. That's how I read the records. That's how all of this will fit you so clearly, so succinctly that you can pick a path. So we are coming from the 9/9 energy of September, the master completion of September. We're in a 3-year, which is this human year. If you've been following me, I apologize because I say this over and over, but we're getting to the end. Come January, we'll be in a 4-year, so everything's going to shift. And here at the end of the month, or excuse me, at the end of the year, the 10, the 11, the 12, we are in this ramped up energetic cycle to really get ourselves into this next energetic spin. So what's happening at the end of last month, and I'll tap into the consciousness level of the red and blue path and possibly what you experienced during September and what energy you should be feeling and carrying into this October month. But we've been completing a massive human cycle. There's been so much with our low self, with this human, with the personality, whatever your name is, insert your name right now. I am Jenessee. Jennessee's path on earth has been to do specific specific things, right? To create specific realities. And so what has your trajectory been thus far? That is your low self. That is your personality. That is what your purpose as this human has been, right? And so it's not as if we're letting that go, but this is all updating, upgrading, and changing. This 3-year, we've lived a whole 9-year cycle to basically understand who we've been, what we've been creating over the last 9 years, and we are letting go of a big component of that come next year, and we're going to be basically updating ourselves, raising that consciousness level so that we can experience our next shift in energy. And so this is a huge letting go and transformation cycle we're on. And so now moving into the October, it's all about our ones and our zeros. And so here at the beginning of the month, again, and in just a moment, we're going to pick our red or blue path for the month. But basically the 10-10 that we experience this month is not only our mastery, but it's also our new beginning. And so programming, if I can use any word, it's like your body becomes a software system this month. We get to, because of everything we've done throughout the year up until the 9/9 completion of last month, we have basically experienced everything that we needed to, all the lessons, all the patterns, all the density, all the trauma we had to basically understand what we're working with here. And now as we move into the 10-10, we get to program. We say, this is who the low self is. This is what Jenessee was creating, right? This is who she thinks she is. And then we almost get to take our high self in connection to our low self, everything the human, and we get to say, okay, high self and low self, who do you want to be? Is this what you want? Is this what you like? Is this how you want to feel? Is this the reality you want to live in? It's almost as if the October becomes this playground to entertain any new program, any new software we want to embed into this matrix so that we can experience a new reality. And then come the 11/11, the November gateway, we get to walk through that portal of what we basically programmed ourselves with here in October. So that's why October is so important. That's why we're doing a 30-day challenge this October, because we want to get ourselves in crystal clear alignment to who and what we want to be. We are updating, upgrading, activating, and then we are accepting that new program as we move through the gateway. And as we do that, we are such a clear vessel to then experience and manifest in the 2020, the building year. We get to build that reality that we created October and November, and then got to kind of update and change a little bit in December. So I'm going to tell you what you could be experiencing your consciousness level to get you really anchored into if you are going to pick the blue path or the red path. So blue path comes to us this month. And so if you were somebody last month, I'm going to just keep going back to last month because the completion cycle could have been a really bumpy ride. If you watched Harry Potter, The Little Shrunken Head, it's going to be a bumpy ride. It was such a bumpy ride for so many of us in September. And so if you're going to be somebody who's going to pick the blue path and live the blue path through your October programming month, you will have been in the energy of tolerance. And so this is all about, it took all of your willpower, everything, every ounce of your willpower, your control, your strength, the need and the want to continue on your path. It would have taken every ounce of your energy last month to stay on course. And this is in connection to the unity plane, which means I'm going right to, I know we've been talking a lot about relationships in past months, so I'm seeing a lot of transition blue path to blue path people here, but it's a lot about this. It took every ounce of your strength, your want to stay connected to your highest, greatest good last month. You probably are coming into this month feeling really drained, and it's being so drained because you have not been situated so much in yourself, but you have been trying to understand everything happening in your reality through the unity plane, meaning you are not only trying to understand what your piece of the puzzle is, but you're trying to understand how your piece of the puzzle is affecting every other person you're encountered with. And so this is a really, it is self-actualization to the nth degree. Like, I'd have to say you're probably coming into to this month a little tired, a little worn down, like you might need a little break, a little vacation. And we have that, the Arizona Manifestation Retreat, if you want to join us in November. It's all about tolerance. And so how I would say this is like your high self in connection to how you had to express yourself last month. Like, every ounce of what you did probably it probably drained you, but also you feel so rewarded for sticking to your path, your purpose. And so a lot of tolerance energy. So blue path people, this is the consciousness level you should be coming in. You should be swept in from September into October with. And so if that feels resonant, if that feels right for you, then definitely go for the blue path. Do not even entertain the red path. So if that does not sound resonant, let's see if this one tickles your fancy. So the red path would have been, I'm just going to say, like, you would have matured so much last month. And this is a maturation of your collective, of your minds. Like, you should have expanded so much past the limitations of who you thought you were. And again, we're in this human year, so it's very much so centered around the human, the power of the human, the power of what you can create, the your own reality, all of these things. And of course, that's kind of higher concept. So it could have been you got up the courage to leave the job that you didn't feel satisfied in anymore, or the relationship, or you made some really life altering decisions that affected the low self, the human, the personality. And don't ever think when I say low self, it's a bad thing. It's just an indication of the human living the conscious journey. We have low self, and then we have high self, and we have divine self. And so it's just the three phases of consciousness. And so low self is a beautiful term. Don't ever attach anything negative to that. And so here in the consciousness level, this one comes in with harmony. You probably would have had to be extremely intuitive, creative. Like, you probably had to change lanes so many times last month, constantly creating the next thing to keep you going. A ton of like heart-centered energy. You probably had to recenter all the time. For me, September was interesting. I picked this path. I usually don't say what path I pick, but before I read everything, I pick a path. So this is my path this month. And last month, I'll just give an example here. I was so clued into my heart. Every time I would leave center or leave a part of my what I was supposed to be doing. So center point to me is keeping you in homeostasis, right? So it's in complete balance to exactly where you're supposed to be. It's being in the still point of the present moment. And so for me last month, anytime I would leave that just a tiny bit, my heart would start, it felt like my heart was going like 180 beats a minute or something crazy. And I was like, whoa, it was this really physical reaction to leaving my center, my balance point, my truth point. And so there was almost this, for this collective, for the person who had this big kind of maturing moment, this big collective shift, it would have affected you in the human form, and really come in again, like I said, if you chose to leave something that served the low self, the human, the personality, in a way that you felt like this just can't serve me in the direction I'm going. This feels like this energy for you this month. And then it would have been a really although you've been so creative and had to switch lanes and super intuitive, it's also extremely mental. So I'd say the person who picks the red path will have been like switched left brain, right brain, left brain, right brain. It would have been such like the devil and the angel, right? Constantly. And you trying to stay in that center and constantly deciding, where do I go? Do I go for the intuition? Do I go for the logical thing that's going to serve the human? It's almost this kind of this I feel like you would have been in a constant state of flux last month. It would have been the complete internal struggle, dialogue, constantly trying to shift and change but stay centered. It would have just been this hodgepodge, crazy kind of collective mess. And so we've got Red Path coming in with like a collective mess, right? Energy. This just but you did it. You did it is the thing. It's you had a maturing moment. You gained. Both of these things are coming in with a level of awareness. I feel like both of these paths are coming in with a understanding of the completion, which is really cool. But the really interesting thing, even though last month was the master completion, the 9/9 energy, we still step into this October. We've allowed ourselves to let go of the old paradigm, but it's not as if life has changed yet, which is really cool. So we almost are like standing at this like new starting line. It's like we just crossed the finish line, but there's another like red line on the ground that it's like we're getting ready to start something new and we don't really know what it is. We're not there yet because as we move into October is all about getting really clear on what we want and programming ourselves to be open channels to accept that. And so again, just to recap, the blue path will be coming in. Like, I feel like blue path is like, just think of the mom in the car that's driving and has a toddler in the back that keeps asking like, why is the sky blue? Why is my name Jenessee? Why am I having to wear a seatbelt? And the mom's just like tolerating every question, hearing it, but not really hearing it type of a thing. That's kind of the energy blue path would be coming in at like last month and everything that happened to you, all the triggers, all the experiences you had last month. If you just felt like you were kind of like there, but not there, like you were doing everything, you had to pour so much energy into everything, you did it all with like full energy, full heart, full connection, but you were doing it not only for yourself but for everybody else also, which means you're not, you're like there but you're not there. It's like that. I just get that kind of mom with a toddler feeling like they can do everything. They can manage everything, but like you kind of see that like glazed over look. So it's this like tolerating life sensation. And so that's blue path. And then red path is this like you got kicked in the butt and you had to have a maturing moment where you recognize that you were really desperately holding on to an old outdated version of yourself that was not going to serve you moving forward. And so the red path is all about you were kind of forced to mature. You were forced into this. And don't get me wrong, this has been a really long path to get you into the completion moment that you had last month. But it's this like collective maturing that you've went through. And so I feel like you probably feel like you've had that like caterpillar to butterfly moment. And you've really kind of stepped into this next awakening. Although it really it was a struggle to get here, like left and right brain, angel and devil, good and evil, positive and negative, like who am I, what am I, like you probably went through the whole philosophy book last month on trying to figure out like what is this, what am I creating, who am I, is this really what I want, like tons of life questions and things going on, and then finally kind of at the end of it just had this like settling in, this maturing where it's like I can just kind of be in this and let go of whatever it was that was holding me back and kind of be in this moment and ready for the next step. And so that would be your blue and red path. And so before you move on, please do select your path because it is so much more powerful if you can make this decision intuitively and then get the information that comes through in a moment as we dive deeper. So the next thing we'll do is go into what you can expect through the month of October with the new beginning and the mastery number coming in on the same day, October 10th, and then the duality, which will be the October 20th date. So join me in those videos and you can click the red or the blue path to continue viewing.